Did I miss anything this morning?
Nope. Other than I got a new version of Skype and it completely reset everything, but that's
Yeah. Also, it looks like there's a giant stuffed panda behind me, but I think that's one of those weird pillow things.
I think it's all good.
Okay. Download.
Oh, Jesus. Teams.
There's been this kind of consistent story out in the press that Windows Defender or whatever it was called, Security Essentials over the years, is like some kind of lackluster security solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that has never... I don't understand where that stuff comes from, but you're finally starting to see tests that are like, actually, this thing works really well.
Yeah, I'm going to screw myself here, but that's the only thing I've run for.
Yeah, no, me too.
Whenever it came out, never had a problem.
Yeah.
Never.
I might write that up today.
Yeah, you will. I don't know why I said that, but it sounded right.
Sorry, I could barely hear you there.
Oh, don't worry. I was just ripping on you.
By the way, this could just be the thing I'm on, but you might be on the wrong microphone. I mean, you should just look at it real quick.
Oh, maybe.
Just in case, because you sound distant, but it might just be me. Yeah. See, right now I can hear you really well. So wherever you are, that's where the microphone is.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, Skype, amazing.
Nope. Actually.
Oh.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
You can.
I can.
Despite the fact that
you're 10 feet away from the mic. Yes.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're clearly on the right mic now.
I'm curious if it's impacting. Let me see if people in the outside world works for them. If you're on the outside world, can you let me know if the audio is okay? Because Skype just told me that this microphone was not actually active, but clearly if Paul can hear me.
If you're inside Brad's house, would you please call the police? Because someone is in Brad's house.
Son of a bitch. I hate Skype.
We should go back to Teams.
All right, people are saying the audio is okay. So if it's not okay, I'm just going to drink away the weekend, and that will be life. You ready, Paul?
No, it sounds great.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to First Ring Daily Live, where Paul is in the yellow brick room.
Yep. I followed the yellow brick road to get here. Let's see, we left at 7:30, so how does that work out? So if that's 5 hours. Yeah, actually, we made good time. We got 5 hours and 10 minutes.
It's a little bit longer than halfway to the beach that I'm going to be driving to in 6 days. My daughter wakes up every day and says, "Is it beach day?" And we say, "Nope." And then she gets this sad little look on her face, and then we ship her off to school.
Do you ever give her an update on how far away it might be so that she could reset her expectations?
Yeah, we have a calendar on the fridge that clearly has a little sun on it with like happiness and no Twitters and all that good stuff. Like everybody's going to be happy in the household.
Unicorns and sprinkles.
Yep.
You know what I have on my fridge, Brad?
Damn it.
A picture of a pig. You know who drew it?
As soon as I said the word fridge, I knew where this was going.
We went to a baseball game last night, and the team is the Iron Pigs. It's a local AAA team, or whatever. So their logo is, of course, a kind of a ferocious-looking pig. And my brother-in-law leaned into me last night at the game. He was holding the program. He says, you should send a picture of this to your friend and tell him so he can see what a pig looks like.
He knows about it, too?
Oh, no, what happened?
Uh-oh. I can still hear you.
Froze there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. Oh, it's popping up.
Yeah.
But it's clearly fine on this end. So.
Okay.
Whatever. I just appreciate that you show your entire family my
It says I have a network connectivity problem. Why don't you try calling me back?
It's weird though because the audio and everything's coming through crystal clear. This is just Skype.
Oh boy.
Whatever. Anyways, we'll keep going. We'll fight through. Just like a pig.
Yeah. So I
would.
tried to type something to you, and it never sent. Okay. Okay.
The joys of live shows, folks, is that you get to experience what we do every single time we try to podcast over the interwebs. Paul, speaking of quality online services, so this is a fun one. I haven't logged into Facebook in probably 2 weeks. I haven't logged into Facebook on my phone in at least a month. And I started getting text messages yesterday from a number. It says X person posted a photo, and I thought it was just like a spam or whatever, but it's actually Facebook texting me about updates that are happening because I'm not logged in because I gave them my stupid phone number for 2-factor.
Sorry.
Yeah. I want to punch something. Maybe a pig.
I know.
Maybe.
I think it might be my Wi-Fi connection. Although, I mean, it says I have a bad. Do you want to just call me back real quick?
Just like to point out
The
that
person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
he told me
Please
to
leave
call
a message
and then
after
he
the
didn't
beep.
answer.
I love technology.
You're not.
All right, so
video.
Yeah, let me fix that somehow. Here we go. How about now?
Yep. 1 second.
I can. This is my phone, so I don't. Yeah, something's wrong. I don't know. I tried. I don't know what to say.
Now we get half Paul.
Yeah. Well, no. I'll flip it around. I just need to make.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I'm not even going to edit this out because I am exceptionally lazy before the holidays. And I'm dealing with Facebook texting me. And why did OneNote go away?
There we go. There we go. All right. How do I do this?
Hey, at least nobody's going to complain about cats on this episode.
That's actually, he has 2 cats, but they are locked out of the room. I know.
Are they just pawing? I imagine if you went to the door, there'd just be little paws reaching underneath going, Paul.
Yeah. I can hear you talking. What do you want?
But, all right, real quick here. Paul, my Surface 3 finally done updating. I'm on 1803.
Really?
Yeah.
How was the performance?
When I say
Glacial?
when I'm saying it finished updating at approximately 13 seconds before this podcast started. I haven't done anything. It took all night, I think, to install 1803. But
so just remember, Google this because I don't know how you do it on the PC, but Google download lowest quality possible iTunes video. Like just do that because it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, plus, it's my kid watching in the back of a car.
Sure.
She doesn't need 1080p.
Yep. She doesn't need 4K.
No. She will take her pixels and she will like it.
That little scamp.
This is so. Did you see the essential stuff?
I did not.
So Andy Rubin's. Here's the short version.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Andy Rubin's company Essential is essentially gone. It's up for sale. After dumping $100 million into products, the founder of Android can't found a company based on Android because Samsung, Google, and a few other smaller companies basically own it and locked everybody else out.
You know who should buy this company?
Don't.
Microsoft. Anyway, I saw a tweet that he made, he being Andy Rubin, that he said that what they had done was dropped the development of the second phone, and that they were focusing on other devices. And of course, if you go back to the original Essentials announcement from last year, I just did that Jetty mind trick thing. They were talking about doing some sort of a home hub, that would work across device types and so forth. And they never really delivered on that. So maybe that's what he means. But I guess what you're saying is, was it Bloomberg or whatever?
Yeah, it was Bloomberg.
They're actually trying to sell the company, in other words.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. After dumping $100 million into it, which is, a little bit shy of the $10 billion Microsoft put into Windows Phone.
Yeah, I mean, how about like trying 2 gens? I mean, there were some obvious issues with the first phone that I'm sure they were working to address. I think the design of the thing was really cool. I mean, they ran into problems with the colors, and those things took a lot longer than expected. But as my wife and I were talking on the drive here, we were looking at different color cars and things, and it's hard doing color matching across different materials, right? You see that in phones, and it's why you don't see color PCs. Like the only time you ever see a real color on a PC is when the whole thing is plastic, because you can just match the color really easily. But I think that was one of the cool things that they had done, was have those kind of really nice color options. And I thought it was a pretty device. I never got one for review, but that's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm curious if it's going to go the Nokia way with HMD Global, a company like that, buying up the brand name and then trying to hawk things on, But
I mean, do they have any brand recognition?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Do they? I have no idea.
I mean, essential.com is a pretty good domain. They could squat on that for a while and make about $4,700 back.
They could do that. They could do a lot of things.
Yep.
They could do a lot of things. Here's an interesting one, Paul. If you're not familiar, which you probably are, today is GDPR Day, which is the day that all of our inboxes will hopefully stop getting spammed with please join in. I don't particularly know this person, but it was on a bunch of different websites, and so I'm assuming that he's pretty pronounced in this industry. It says digital privacy activist Max Schrems files official GDPR complaints against Google, Facebook, and WhatsApp and Instagram over forced consent. This will be fun to watch.
Forced consent?
Yeah.
In other words, he doesn't live in the EU, and he's being forced to adhere to GDPR style privacy controls or something.
I don't know. I would assume he was in the EU, but I'm going to find out here in a second.
So, I mean, I'm curious. In other words, the EU is imposed this restriction on these companies, right? So they're all racing tech companies to meet the requirements. And now this individual is complaining because he's being forced to adhere to the requirements that the EU is imposing, and he's suing the companies, not the EU.
It says the complaints about Facebook and Google come from Facebook subsidiaries, come from a group called None of Your Business. Not even kidding. A non-profit funded by a very successful serial Facebook litigant, Max Schrems. Schrems is he's in Austria. The Austrian lawyer who has annihilated. Yeah, so he's in the EU. And
I'm sorry. He's gone from private. How did you describe him earlier? Privacy. What was the term?
The group is called None of Your Business. A non-profit.
No. When you described him earlier, you used the term like privacy advocate. Litigant.
Yes.
So
litigant.
He is in fact a serial Facebook litigant. That's what he does.
Yep.
Like I play Call of Duty when I'm bored. This guy sues Facebook. That's his shtick. Yeah.
And the GDPR is just some new DLC coming his way.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's exactly right.
I don't know. It's the only reason I bring this up at all is that for people who aren't familiar with GDPR, it's this privacy thing that's impacting everybody around the globe. But what we're all waiting for is there's going to be a case study, and that case study is going to be one company is going to get their butts handed to them by the EU for a very large sum of money. And pretty much everybody's waiting to see who's going to get nipped in the butt first, because that's going to set the precedence for compliance. Because if you're not familiar with this stuff, it's insanely complex. But they come out with a law, and everybody tries to adhere to that law. But that law is essentially up to interpretation of the people who are going to be enforcing the GDPR standard. Now, granted, the law should adhere to how they're enforcing it, but there's a lot of just gray areas. For example, one area is invoicing. If somebody buys something from you and you get their information for an invoice, is that the same thing as email and all that? There's a lot of just gray areas, and it's not going to be until we get one massive court case where somebody's going to lose a bunch of money to the EU that we will actually understand the best practices for implementing compliance. And it's going to be a fun railroad to watch, almost as much fun as Samsung paying Apple $560 million for patent infringement.
Yeah, I believe the range of possible payments on that was $43 to $1 billion. So they did pretty well on that scale.
Yep.
I think, not to speak on behalf of the entire tech industry, but if I understand how things are working, given what the EU is like, I suspect that Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook, all these big companies are adhering to this as strongly as possible, because what they don't want is to be the subject of litigation like this guy is doing to them now. I mean, I think they'd rather be sued by this idiot than sued by the EU, right? You don't want to go to antitrust court or whatever it is. I guess it wouldn't be antitrust, but you don't want to face those people. So I think that's the reason these things are so stringent, because they know what it will be like if they don't do it.
Yeah, the EU doesn't sue for tens of dollars.
No, they don't. They enjoy daily fines. In fact, the daily fines are tied to your revenues. It's not good.
Yeah. But pivoting a minute back to that Samsung thing. So, Paul, would you agree that Samsung is probably the largest Android vendor? At least they have the largest mind share of consumers with their Galaxy line.
No, I mean, they literally are the biggest seller of smartphones. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm curious. So Apple is getting $560-ish million from Samsung. But would you consider that a tax worth paying to be in the position that Samsung is in?
Yeah. This case is fascinating, right? So there are, among the many issues here are the designs of Apple's that Samsung copied. And by the way, they literally copied these things. There's no doubt about it. Date back to the earliest days of the iPhones and the earliest days of the Galaxy S phones. So what they were being sued for, what they are now being punished for, is several years old. And the weirdness of this is that if you look at the market today, you can make a very compelling case that after getting into the market very quickly by copying Apple's designs, Samsung has subsequently innovated in ways that Apple is now copying them.
Yep.
And they are ahead of Apple in some very key areas when it comes to smartphone design or smartphone features, whatever it might be. So yeah, $569 million or whatever?
Something like that.
That's nothing. I mean, yeah, here you go. Thanks for the R&D work, Apple. It's they'll fight it because they have to.
Yep.
And I don't know if they can anymore. I know this has gone back and forth many times. I'm not sure what the recourse is at this point, but yeah, this is just like you said. Those two companies are neck and neck when it comes to market share. I don't remember. I don't know off the top of my head, but they both make a ginormous amount of money overall. Yep. Samsung's earnings, profits, revenues, whatever, are spread out over different businesses that aren't just smartphones. So it's kind of hard, we have some indications there, but yeah, I think they're doing pretty well. So
yeah, it was a good move.
I think they should lose this case. Yeah, it's a super predatory move. That's the thing with Samsung. Like they're not to be trifled with.
And your quality just went to utter garbage. You sound like you're
sorry.
Oh yeah, I think you're ready for the weekend.
Bye.
You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, I'm going to work on. I got to ask Paul. I'm probably not going to do short takes today. I do have some other things I want to write. I'll probably write up the Apple thing. And I can't remember something else. State of Decay too. There's no big deal, but yeah, I've got some more stuff for today. But have a great weekend. I will be mostly out after today. So
sounds good.
What have you got going on?
I think we might go swimming. I think is
Nice.
we got a whole bunch of. I mean, because we're going on vacation on Thursday, we're just kind of honestly just packing and just cleaning the house up. Just nothing.
Yep.
Nothing fun. Yep. Nothing fun. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for this abridged episode of Paul being on the road, me being here, and it being Memorial Day weekend in the United States, which means there is just not a lot going on. But we hope that everybody has a wonderful Friday. And if you're not working Monday, congrats to you, because I don't think Paul and I are going to be working Monday. And enjoy your long weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday, regular time, regular show, regular stuff. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
Yep. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry that didn't work out well. I was so proud of myself for getting here, and I thought this is going to go great.
And then who would have guessed the Skype would have been?
Yeah, I ended up doing it on the phone anyway. So
all good. All right, man. Enjoy your time.
All right. Later. Thank you. You too. Have a good weekend.